Hello, everyone. You are now watching a presentation about tourism in Tunisia after the terrorist attack. In our presentation, we will tell you about the terrorist attack that we are talking about in the introduction. Then, we will move on to how tourism flourished after the attack and the effects on of the reforms on the sector. Then, we will talk about the open sky effects on the economy. And to finish, the vision of the future. In June 26, 2015, a terrorist attacked at a beachfront of a hotel in Sousse in Tunisia. The aftermath was terrible, with 37 victims killed and another 36 injured. You can imagine that this started the collapse of the tourism sector in Tunisia starting from 2015.
And now we're gonna talk about the reforms made by René Trabelsi. But first, we're gonna present who is René Trabelsi. He did his secondary school studies in Jerba and then went to France to continue his studies in management in 1985. At a time having dual French and Tunisian nationality, he first manages franchise Franprix supermarkets in Ile-de-France before embarking on tourism. In the 1990s, he founded the tour operator Royal First Travel, which specializes in Tunisia. He is also a member of Ghariba Pilgrimage Commission, manages a four-star hotel in Jerba for 10 years, and is involved in the Tunisian Hotel Federation. So, first, we're gonna talk about the approach toward the markets that René and the ministry realized. The participation of Tunisia in international exhibitions were an important step for the Tunisian tourism, such as the Berlin International Tourism Salon and the Moscow International Travel and Tourism Expo. Also, they have stepped their efforts to better target the Arab markets, like the Qatari, Saudi, Emirati, Jordan, and even the Iraqi markets. A specific program was set up for the benefit of participating Arab delegations to the summit. It included the visit to tourist sites such as the archaeological site of Dugga and the Al Ghabid capital Qayrawaan, which is very non-common because the Tunisian government used to ignore the Arab markets and does not give an importance to it. Also, exhibitions of craft products were also being considered. Targeting the Arab market indeed required an improvement of the archaeological and cultural tourism tours, because only few places in Tunisia were most known, like the Carthage sites and the beaches of Hammamet. Only these places were known to visit by tourists, which is actually not good for the Tunisian tourism because we have many sites that were not discovered and were not improved. They also worked on attracting more Chinese tourists, whose number has reached 28,000 tourists in 2018, which is an increase of 37% compared to 2017. This market, which has shown a preference for the winter season, helped with the sector during this period, which generally sees a decline in tourism activity. It should be remembered that this market is characterized by higher purchasing power than our usual markets. Now, the strategies that René Travelsi and the ministry used. Their strategy is aimed at gradually supporting traditional markets like European market, Russian, etc., whose potential remained far higher than the progress made in 2018, while opening up to new markets such as Asian market. Also, René had a very important fact that in 2018, which is 37% increase compared to 2017. But the potential for this market is even greater. And this is the reason why they were targeting 1 million French tourists in 2019 to reach the record achieved in 2010, which is 1.4 million tourists. It's huge. The association with seaside tourism was important for the name. The ministry also worked to promote alternative and ecological tourism, including Saharan tourism, Gulf tourism, medical tourism, and wellness also. Their efforts in this sense focused on the promotion of these new products during major international fairs and events, and also through promotional campaigns like the report of the specific of Saharan tourism in a very important channel in French. The handicraft sector is very important, but the Tunisian government didn't pay attention to it. The counterfeiting of Tunisian handicraft products is generally practiced by Tunisians who mimic typical Tunisian products such as shishiya, cash de Sidi Boussaid, jubba, marul fadila, sifseri, carpets, etc. by having them made in other countries, which is not good for our economy, like China or Turkey. Mr. Trabelsi thought that this is an unacceptable phenomenon that represents an unfair competition aimed at lowering products' costs but highly penalizing Tunisian artisans. He tried to increase the customs duties imposed on the imports of these counterfeit products so that the price exceeds those of the Tunisian handcrafts products. This is provided that they are imported by organized channels. They also tried to strengthen the awareness of professionals fighting and promoting high quality craftsmanship. They also worked on promoting craftsmanship by giving it a place of choice in a major event to better promote it.
What I was looking for in the data is the number of visitors that increased the income of in the tourism, and the nationality of visitors is important because it tells us what market appeals to us and their money currency, and comparing gives an idea on the reforms and events of the year and previous year. The number of visitors entering Tunisia for 2016 are known. The goal recorded 5.5 million entries and non-residents, and its different discuss ocean and arrive border intersection down by 6.8% compared to 2015, but 20.1% compared to 2014. From 1st January to December 20th, 2017, 6.73 million foreigners came to Tunisia. Moreover, the number of European foreigners is up by 90%. Among these guests, 45.5% and are French and 14% are German. Jerba Island is the most attractive destination in the country, and the income in Tunisia is increasing by 60.3% to stand at 2.6 billion dinars. Then in 2018, the number of visitors is 7.9 million visitors.
I'm going to talk about the Open Sky and its effect on the Tunisian tourism. So what is the Open Sky? So basically it's an international treaty concluded on 24 of March 1992. It requires each state party to carry out short notice observations flights across the entire territory of the others to collect data on military powers and activities. What is the positive impact of the Open Sky? The Open Sky obstacle is a fairly clear one. On the one side, it is a matter of optimizing the tourism sector income, growing the number of European tourists via new operators and open up new lines that would require low prices. It seeks to promote cooperations and shared confidence by providing all of its members, whatever their position, a direct function in collecting military knowledge and related action. Open Skies is one of the wider international attempts to encourage accountability and accessibility in this region. The negative impact. Tunisia has not been adequately positioned to deal with the large airlines that would serve Tunisian airports to become part of Tunisian very small competition.
What was expected for 2020 is that to continue the exponential growth in the tourism sector. However, the future is uncertain, and nothing of our expectations became reality. Our current situation is ever changing, and like in the whole world, we are having um, problems in every country's economy because of the COVID-19. Since the terrorist attack in Sousse in 2015, the tourism in Tunisia has grown and showed an improvement until 2020. We had a terrorist attack near the US Embassy, but also there is a global pandemic of COVID-19, which is a virus. The new Minister of Tourism, Mohamed Ali Toumi, wanted to continue on growing and improving the tourism sector. He had big plans. However, now all tourism sector is dedicated to help with the virus, the global pandemic. He said that 3,037 hotel rooms have been devoted to quarantine, of which 1,014 have already been reserved and 2,023 in progress. What are the current measures taken to help the government, to help the tourism sector prevent an economic collapse? Well, the government cannot prevent an economic collapse. However, since all the hotels and everything that is related to the tourism sector is probably going bankrupt, of hundred of tourism businesses are going bankrupt, and tens of thousands of employees in the sector are being laid off because there is no work. The four urgent support measures requested by Interprofessional Federation of Tunisian Tourism are as follows. The state supports salaries for the months of April and May 2020, so that people can stay at home, stay safe, and take care of themselves without worrying about not having food on the table. Secondly, postponement or elimination of social security contributions relating to the first and second quarter of 2020, without penalty, without formality, and without justification. This is helpful for tourism businesses because how can they work when they have no income? Thirdly, rescheduling of tax debts over a long period without penalty. This is also helpful because without income, how can businesses pay taxes? Fourth, and finally, bank cash loans with easy access and at a moderate rate, even at zero rate. This is also helpful for tourism businesses because it would allow them to stay afloat meanwhile we pass the pandemic. This sector has about 100,000 direct jobs and 400,000 indirect jobs. With their families, it is about 4 million Tunisians depending on the tourism industry. Without it, a lot of people would not be able to do anything. So, This sector represents 14% of the national GDP, which is huge. It is crucial that the state continues to seek urgent financial aid from other countries, regional and international bodies, such as the European Union, the IMF, the World Bank, and the UN, etc. Because as a country, we are not able to carry on all of these expenses alone. Mr. Selim Azebi, Minister of Development, the Minister of Development, International Cooperation and Investment, has a key role to play in the coming days to mobilize international financial support for Tunisia. Of course, as well as all the other ministers. However, he is more um, closer to the goal of financial support to Tunisia. So what is next for the tourism sector? Well, hotels are going to be open to the citizens coming from abroad and to the service of the health ministry and to the medical and paramedical staff for quarantining, staying safe until the COVID-19 virus ends. When it comes to people, well, everyone is canceling their reservations and flights to stay safe. It's not only a pandemic happening in Tunisia, but it is worldwide. Closing borders. In order to contain the international crisis, it was imperative to close borders. And that is for all countries, not only for Tunisia. So there are no people leaving, but also no people coming from abroad. Our team consists of Mariam Hishri, Umayma Ruiz, Skander Musa, and Zainab Toumi. Thank you. Do you have any questions? These are our resources. You can check them out afterwards.